Hi everyone. I'm Claire from Susan's family. Today I'll teach you how to make a poker soldier doll, the spade guard version. For this electronic tutorial, you can search for susud.com to check it out. This doll consists of 4 parts: the head, limbs, box, and accessories. Start by crocheting the head and limbs separately. Then, during the process of making the box, attach them to the corresponding position. Finally, make and attach the accessories. First, let's learn the crocheting method for the head. The head includes the head, ears, hair, eyes, nose, and hat. First, crochet the head. Let's take a look at the finished product. Use the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds. You need to stuff while crocheting. Finally, close up the opening. The stitches used include X for single crochet, V for SC2-in-1, A for SC2 tog, chain and slip stitch. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. To make it easier for everyone to see more clearly, I will choose the colors randomly here. For specific yarn color options and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Start with an Ajish Heart magic ring. Then crochet the first round. Our 1 is 6x. The number before X indicates how many single crochets you need to work. Here it means working 6 single crochets into the magic ring loop. First, work 1 chain to begin. Then pick up the loop and work 6 single crochets. After completing, you can check the stitch count. Then tighten the starting tail of the yarn. This will close the ring properly. Next, work a slip stitch into the first single crochet of this round. Pull tight. The slip stitch is not indicated in the form. When crocheting in rounds, you always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pulling tight. That completes the first round. Then move on to the second round. Our 2 is 6V. The number before the V indicates how many SC2-in-1 in a row. So here it means you work 6 SC2-in-1 consecutively. Work 1 chain as a beginning chain. Let me emphasize this again. At the start of every round, you need to make a beginning chain. I won't repeat this for the following rounds. Work 1 SC2-in-1 into the first stitch of the previous round. That is, the insertion point of the slip stitch. Work 2 single crochets here. While crocheting, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. Continue to work a SC2-in-1 on the left stitch. Don't forget to weave in the yarn tail. Finish this round. After completing it, you can check the stitch count. Then slip stitch into the first stitch. Pay attention. After each round, slip stitch to the first stitch. You can take a look. Between the first stitch and the last stitch, there are 2 small braids. They are the slip stitch from the previous round and the beginning chain of this round. Skip these 2 stitches. Work on the first stitch. Then tighten it. Directly cut off the extra starting yarn tail. The second round is now complete. Continue with the third round. Row 3 is X, V, asterisk 6. The parentheses here indicate a group. The asterisk indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First, make a single crochet. Then work a SC2 in 1 in the next stitch. I'll demonstrate it again. First, make a single crochet. Then work a SC2 in 1. This is the second time. Repeat this group 6 times for this round. For the remaining 4 times, work using the method of 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1. Finally, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. Row 3 is now complete. You can take a look. The right side texture is clear. The wrong side texture is blurry. All following rows will be worked on the right side. Now let's move on to row 4. Start with 1 single crochet. Work 1 SC2 in 1 next. Then work 1 single crochet. 1 group, X, V, X is now completed. I'll demonstrate it again. Start with 1 single crochet. Then work 1 SC2 in 1. Continue with 1 single crochet. This is the second time. Keep crocheting following the previous method. After completing all stitches, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 4th round is now completed. Move on to the 5th round. Start with 3 single crochets. Then work 1 SC2 in 1. Pay attention to the increase placement, should follow the stitch pattern order in the chart. Do not adjust randomly. Keep crocheting following the previous method. Finish with a slip stitch join. Pull tight. The 5th round is now completed. Let's take a look. On the right side, 1 raised texture represents 1 round. So far, we have crocheted 5 rounds. Next on the chart, from the 6th to the 12th round. Just follow the stitch pattern order in the chart. And repeat crocheting for the corresponding number of times. Here, I would like to clarify something. In the chart, R8 R1 2, even 4 2x means that Work single crochets evenly from the 8th round. Every round has 42 stitches. Continue crocheting until the end of the 12th round. For any similar format later on, the meaning will be the same as this. While crocheting, don't forget the beginning chain and slip stitch. This is a sample I crocheted with several rounds of even single crochets. Crocheting evenly will naturally cause the fabric to curl. Adjust the fabric so that the right side faces out. Moving forward, follow the methods learned earlier. Refer to the chart to complete these rounds. Next, we will crochet round 13. I'll demonstrate the crocheting method using this sample. First, work 5 single crochets. Then, make a SC2 tog. Let's take a look first. Each stitch is made up of 2 loops. The loop closer to the right side is called the front loop. The other one is the back loop. First, hook into the front loop of the first stitch. Then hook into the front loop of the left stitch. There will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over again, and draw through in once. The SC2 tog is now completed. This method of decreasing by only picking up the front loops is called an invisible decrease. Crochet using this method. The gaps between stitches are relatively small. This makes the fabric more delicate overall. 5XA is now completed. I'll demonstrate it again. Start with 5 single crochets. Then move on to 1 SC2 tog. Insert your hook sequentially through the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches on the left. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops on your hook sequentially. Repeat this 2 times. 1 time. 2 times. The SC2 tog is completed. The stitch pattern inside the parentheses has been completed again. Continue crocheting using the previous method. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Round 13 is now complete. The remaining parts of the head involve simpler stitch methods. You can follow the chart to crochet them. Mindful not to randomly adjust the positions for increasing or decreasing. You also need to stuff while crocheting. Start stuffing when there are 3 to 4 rounds left. Next, I'll demonstrate the stuffing method using this sample. Fluff up the stuffing and insert it inside. You can use tweezers to assist. The stuffing of the head needs to be evenly and firmly stuffed. After achieving a general fullness, pinch the fabric's curve slightly. Try to make the area below the decrease section as fully stuffed as possible. You can stuffing the opening part with a small amount first. Then, you can continue stuffing while crocheting later on. That's the method for stuffing. Continue crocheting to complete the remaining part. After finishing the last round of the head, it's time to fasten off the yarn. Leave about 15 centimeters of the yarn tail before cutting it off. Pull the yarn tail through and tighten it directly. The yarn is now fastened off. Thread the yarn tail onto a darning needle. Pick up the front half of the stitches from the last round one by one. Then pull tight in one go. Run the excess tail through adjacent positions a few times. Insert the needle into the center of the closing point. Exit the needle from any position. Gently pull the yarn. Press the closing area to lay flat. Run the excess tail through the fabric a few more times inside. Trim off. The closing is now done. The crocheting method for the head has now been explained. Next, we'll make the ears. Use the remaining yarn tail from the head to crochet. First, leave a 10 centimeter tail, and start with an adjust heart magic ring. Then, chain 1 as the beginning chain. Crochet 1 single crochet into the magic ring, followed by 2 half double crochets. And 1 more single crochet. Crochet 1 slip stitch next. Secure with 1 chain. Enlarge the loop. Leave a 10 centimeter tail and cut the yarn. Gently tighten it slightly. Close the magic ring. One ear is now crocheted. Crochet the other ear in the same way. Next, attach the ears to the head. Thread the reserved tail into a darning needle. Locate the increase point at round 15 of the head. These are the 2 raised positions. Use these as the cheeks. Attach the ears behind the cheeks. Position the starting point of the head facing downward. The right side of the ear should face forward. Align the top edge of the ear with round 15 of the head. Skip 3 single crochets from the outermost increasing position in this round. Find the corresponding position. Whip stitch along the bottom edge of the ear to the matching position on the head. Tie a double knot after sewing. Weave in the yarn tail inside the head. Also weave in the other yarn tail inside the head. One ear has now been sewn on successfully. Use the same method to sew the other ear symmetrically. You can take a look. This is what the sample looks like after the ears are sewn on. Next, let's learn how to make the hair section. Take a look at the finished product. The hair consists of the scalp and the hair strands. The scalp is crocheted counterclockwise in rounds using the magic ring method. The method is similar to how the head was started. After completing it, don't cut the yarn, just refer to the pattern and finish it. Once the scalp is done, crochet the hair strands along the outer edge. Finally, secure it to the head. The new stitches used are T for half double crochet and F for double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Everyone look, this is what the completed scalp looks like. The color scheme of the sample is random and not for reference. Next, move on to crocheting the hair strands. Start with the first one. Continue crocheting from the ending position of the scalp. Crochet 16 chains first. Dow 2 means start crocheting from the second to last chain of the beginning chain. Pick up the front loop of the chain. Crochet correspondingly. Make 2 single crochets, 2 half double crochets, 7 double crochets, two half double crochets, and 2 single crochets. Then, work 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch on the left side of the scalp. Pull tight. The first strand is now completed. Continue with the second strand. In the chart 2-8 indicates that strands 2 through 8 are all crocheted using the same method. Start with 17 chains. Begin crocheting the corresponding stitches from the second to last chain. After completing, work 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. Pull tight. The second strand is now finished. The method for the remaining strands is similar. Pay attention and crochet the corresponding stitch patterns according to the chart. One strand corresponds to one stitch. You can refer to the previous demonstration and the chart to finish them. After completing the last strand, end with a slip stitch at the starting position of the first strand. Look everyone. This is what the sample looks like when all the strands are finished. After everything is completed, secure it with a chain. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Pull tight. Weave in the yarn tail along the textured right side. You can secure it with a few more stitches if needed. Trim any excess yarn tails. Turn the wrong side of the scalp outward. That's how you finish the hair. Next, attach the hair to the top of the head. Mind that the wrong side of the scalp should face up. The shorter hair strands should point toward the face. Align the center of the scalp with the beginning stitch center of the head. Secure them in place with pins. Place all the longer hair strands on both sides of the face behind the ears and tidy them up. There can have a slight overlap in the upper area. Try not to expose the scalp between the hair strands as much as possible. Let the ends of the 3 shorter hair strands on the left tilt slightly to the left. Position the top strand at the center of the forehead. Let the ends of the hair tilt to the right. Tilt the remaining 4 strands on the right side, like this, toward the right. Arrange the strands as neatly as possible. Allow a slight overlap at the ends of the strands. You can also adjust the hairstyle according to your preference. Make sure that no part of the head is exposed. Once you've confirmed the positions, glue the strands onto the head. Apply glue on the right side of the scalp and each strand. Ensure they are securely glued. Press firmly to secure. You can use pins to temporarily hold them in place. When securing the strands on both sides of the ears, make sure no part of the head is exposed. Place all short strands in front of the ears. You can secure all the remaining hair on your own. after ensuring everything is glued securely. Finally, remove the pins. That concludes the explanation for securing the hair. Next, we will make the eyes. Start by using pins to mark the positions for the eyes. Locate the two protruding areas on the cheeks. Count upwards 3 rounds from the most prominent circle. Find the middle 4 single crochets of that round. Secure each side with pins. Then count outwards 3 single crochets from each pin. Mark the corresponding positions with pins. Each eye will take up about 3 single crochet spaces. Now move on to making the eyes. Cut a piece of the corresponding color yarn. Pull out 4 strands. Thread them into a sewing needle. Insert from any position at the back of the head. Exit at the marked position to the right of the eye. Insert into the marked position on the left side. Then exit again at the marked position for the left eye. Slightly tighten. Pay attention to curving the eyes slightly. Secure with glue. Be mindful that use tweezers to make the ends of the eyes a little thinner. You can also adjust the shape according to your preference. Make the other eye in the same way, maintaining symmetry. Finally, weave the yarn tail to the back. Trim any excess yarn tails. Next, take out the same color yarn. Pull out one strand and thread it into a needle. Embroider 5 lashes on the outer side below each eye. Pay attention to making the lashes an appropriate length. Spread them towards both sides. Try to make the eyebrows as symmetrical as possible. After completing, break the yarn. That's how you make the eyes. Next, glue on the nose. The nose is below the eyes. It's in the same round as the protruding position of the cheeks. Find the centered position in this round. You can also adjust the specific position according to your preference. Apply glue to secure it in place. And that completes the nose. Finally, apply a slight blush around the lash area, below the eyes, and near the corners. You can also decide the specific position based on your preference. Pay attention, after dipping into the blush, first test it a few times on your hand or a piece of paper, then apply the blush. This will make it lighter and more even. The blush is now complete. Next, we'll learn how to crochet the hat. It's divided into the inner fabric, the outer fabric, and the hat top. The crocheting method for the inner fabric is relatively simple. Use the magic ring method to crochet in rounds. Refer to the previous demonstration and follow the chart to crochet. After completing, fasten off the yarn normally. For the outer fabric, use the magic ring method. In the first few rounds of crocheting in rounds, you need to turn the fabric after each round. For the following rows, skip the middle position and work back and forth to create an opening. Then edging around the opening of the fabric. Finally, merge and connect the outer fabric with the inner fabric. Stuff the piece during the connecting process. After completing, make and attach the hat top. The new stitch used is the TAW for HDC2 TOG. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Take out the corresponding color yarn. For my sample, the color scheme is random. Start with an Ajish Heart magic ring. In the first round, crochet 4 single crochets. Tighten the yarn loop a bit. Join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is now complete. Move on to the second round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Turn means to flip the fabric over. Position the wrong side facing you. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Start from the stitch at the bottom left. Correspondingly, make SC2 in 1. Crochet while tightening the beginning yarn tail. Finish crocheting this round. After completion, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The second round is now complete. The beginning yarn tail has been worked around once. You can cut it directly. Continue to crochet the third round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Turn the workpiece over. Hook into the left bottom stitch and make 1 single crochet. Continue picking up the left stitch and make 1 SC2 in 1. Repeat crocheting 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1 downward. Crochet the entire round. After completion, join with a slip stitch. Tighten. The third round is complete. Continue to crochet the fourth round. Chain 1 as your beginning chain. Turn the piece over. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. After completion, join with a slip stitch. Tighten. The fourth round is complete. Crocheting without increasing or decreasing will naturally curl the fabric. Place the side with the beginning chain and single crochets as the right side facing outward. Now consider the side that protrudes as the right side. The side that curves inward will be the wrong side. Let me teach you how to count rounds when crocheting back and forth. Keep the right side of the piece facing toward you. The texture of the right side on odd rounds is a V shape created by single crochets. On even rounds, it's the texture of the wrong side. There's a line running across the top. You can simply alternate, counting the right and wrong sides to determine the rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sample has 4 rounds completed. Moving forward, whether you encounter crocheting back and forth, or crocheting in rounds, or working back and forth on a flat piece, you can count the rounds or rows using this method. For the upcoming rounds 5 to 10, follow the stitch pattern in the chart and crochet the corresponding stitches. Pay attention, at the start of each round, turn your workpiece. Follow the previous demonstration and complete them on your own. After finishing, fasten off the yarn normally. Take a look, everyone. This is what the sample looks like after completing the first 10 rounds. Starting from row 11, work back and forth to create an opening. I'll continue demonstrating with this sample. Place the position where the slip stitches joined at the back of the fabric. On the front side, locate the middle 6 single crochet stitches. Join the yarn at the adjacent stitch on the left side. Make a loose knot with the yarn tail. Hook into this stitch. Hook it out. Adjust the size of the loop. The joining is complete. Then make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Pick up the joining position and work 1 single crochet. As you go, weave in the yarn tail from the joining. Continue working 4 single crochets evenly. Then work 1 SC2 in 1. A group 5x V is now done. Repeat this group 3 more times below. After finishing, work 6 more single crochets. Leave the remaining 6 stitches unworked. Row 11 is now completed. Continue to row 12. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the workpiece. Skip the first stitch on the lower left corner. Work 1 single crochet into the second stitch. Continue with 6 single crochets and 1 SC2 in 1. A group 7XV is now done. Repeat this group 3 more times. After completing, leave the stitch on the left side unworked. Row 12 is now completed. Continue to row 13. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the workpiece. Skip the first stitch. Start from the second stitch and work 1 single crochet for each stitch. Finish with the corresponding number of stitches. Leave the last stitch unworked. Row 13 is now completed. For rows 14 to 26, follow the same method. Refer to the chart and crochet back and forth with the corresponding stitches. Be mindful not to adjust the increase placement arbitrarily while crocheting. All the stitch methods you need have been demonstrated before. Please finish them on your own. Start decreasing from row 27. I will demonstrate the decrease method for crocheting back and forth using this sample. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the workpiece. Make 1 SC2 tog. Let's take a look. Now, the right side of the piece is facing you. Hook into the front loop of the second stitch from the left. Then insert it into the front loop of the stitch on the right. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this step 2 times. The SC2 tog is now completed. Continue with another SC2 tog. Insert the hook through the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches on the left. Mindful to insert into the left stitch first. Then insert into the right stitch. Yarn over. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this step twice. The SC2 tog is now finished. Continue following this method and refer to the chart for corresponding stitches. Complete this row. Row 27 is now completed. Move on to row 28. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the piece. Work 2 single crochets first. Then work 1 SC2 tog. Now, the wrong side of the fabric is facing you. To make the crocheting effect more beautiful, here you need to hook into the back loops of the 2 left stitches. Insert into the back loop of the right stitch first. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times. This SC2 tog is now complete. Continue with 1 single crochet. Then work 1 SC2 tog. Hook into the back loops of the 2 left stitches. Then yarn over. Pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times. Another SC2 tog is now done. Continue following the method and refer to the chart to crochet the corresponding stitches. Finish this row. Row 28 is now complete. For rows 29 to 31, Continue referring to the chart and work back and forth. When working at SC2 tog on the right side of the piece, pick up the front loop only. When working at SC2 tog on the wrong side, pick up the back loop only. Everyone, follow this method. Refer to the previous demonstration. Complete these rows. I'll demonstrate the crocheting method for row 32, using this sample. Make one chain as your beginning chain. Turn the fabric. Skip the first stitch. Pick up the second stitch and work 1/2 double crochet. Then work 1 HDC2 tog. Yarn over, hook into the left stitch. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. This is an unclosed half double crochet. Work another unclosed half double crochet in the left stitch. Yarn over, hook into the stitch. Pull the yarn through. Now there are 5 loops on the hook. That's 2 unclosed half double crochets. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. 1 HDC2 tog is complete. Continue with another HDC2 tog. First, pick up the left stitch and work 2 unclosed half double crochets. Then yarn over. Draw through all loops on the hook at once. Another HDC2 tog is complete. Keep going with HDC2 togs. Finish this row. Row 32 is now done. Next, crochet the edging. Make one chain as your beginning chain. Turn the workpiece, pick up stitches, and work 1 single crochet in each stitch along the edge. Complete this side of the border. After finishing, pick up these 2 strands of yarn on the edge of the beginning chain of this row. Work 1 single crochet. Continue picking up the adjacent 2 strands on edge of the left side. Work 1 single crochet. Pick up the next row's edge and work 1 single crochet. Then skip 1 row. Start from the second row on the left side and work 3 single crochets correspondingly. Continue following the general pattern of working 3 single crochets for every 4 rows. Finish crocheting the corresponding number of stitches along the fabric's edge. The exact insertion points are not fixed. Complete the corresponding number of stitches. Make sure to keep the workpiece flat. After finishing, pick up the remaining stitches in the middle of this row. Work 6 single crochets correspondingly. Continue downward and follow this method to complete the entire round. Pay attention to working the corresponding number of stitches. Do not add or skip any stitches. After completing, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten it. Leave the yarn tail for now. The edging on the outer fabric is now completed. Next, connect the inner fabric and outer fabric of the hat. Turn the inner fabric so that its wrong side faces out. Place it at the opening position of the inner fabric. The slip stitch join position of the inner fabric. Roughly align with the middle position of the outer fabric's bottom edge. Align the last round with the edging of the outer fabric. Start with one chain as the beginning chain. Pick up both the edging stitches of the outer fabric and the inner fabric simultaneously. Work one single crochet for each stitch correspondingly. When you finish crocheting about half of the bottom edge and side edge, stuff the stuffing between the inner fabric and outer fabrics. While stuffing, you can insert the head into the dent of the hat for fitting. This is to avoid overstuffing, which could make it impossible to fit the head inside. Pay attention to keeping the stuffing on both sides of the hat roughly even. After completing the stuffing, continue working single crochets into the corresponding stitches from both the inner and outer fabrics. Finish this round. When you complete the last single crochet, pull up the loop directly. Leave a yarn tail of about 10 centimeters. Break the yarn. Thread the tail end into a darning needle. Insert it through the adjacent stitch, which is the first single crochet stitch. Then, insert it again through the middle of the last stitch. Slightly tighten. You can see that after weaving in the yarn tail this way, there are no noticeable marks on the surface. The texture looks more beautiful. Weave in the remaining yarn tail inside the fabric. This connects the inner and outer fabrics of the hat. After starting the hat top with an edgish heart magic ring, continue crocheting in rounds normally. Once completed, add stuffing. Leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters for sewing. Everyone, take a look. This is what the hat top looks like after completion. Next, sew the hat top to the tip of the hat. Thread the reserved yarn tail from the hat top into a needle. Match the last round of the hat top with the tip of the hat. Pay attention to place the side with the slip stitch marks at the very back of the hat. Use whip stitch to sew together. Adjust the position while sewing. Make sure not to sew crooked. After completing, tie a double knot. Weave in the ends to weave in the yarn tail. The hat top is now attached. Up to this point, the hat is completed. Next, we will make the limbs, including the arms, and the legs, and the shoes. Let's start by learning how to crochet the arms. This includes the thumb, the palm, and the arm. Start with crocheting the thumb. Use the magic ring method and crochet in rounds. Crocheting evenly will make the fabric naturally curl. Pay attention before starting the third round. Adjust the piece so that the right side faces out. After completing, fasten off the yarn normally. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can finish crocheting it on your own. Look, this is what the thumb looks like after completing the sample. For the palm, we will start from a foundation chain and crochet around the foundation chain. While crocheting, you need to connect the thumb to the palm. Then switch colors to crochet the arm. The new stitch used here is the W for SC 3-in-1. Please watch as I demonstrate the crocheting method for the palm and arm. Next, we will crochet the palm. In the chart, 6CH indicates the beginning chain. This means the method for starting is a foundation chain. There are 6 chains in total. That completes the beginning chain. Then, begin with the first round. Dow 2 means you start crocheting from the second chain from the hook. Hook into the top half loop of the second chain from the end. That is, 1 strand of yarn. Crochet 1 single crochet stitch. Next, pick the adjacent chain's top half loop, and crochet 3 single crochets correspondingly. After completing, crochet 1 SC3 in 1 in the last chain. That is, crochet 3 single crochets in the same position. 1, 2, 3. Now, 1 SC3 in 1 is completed. Rotate the piece. Pick up the remaining 2 strands on the left chain. That is, the insertion point for this single crochet. Crochet 1 single crochet. While crocheting, weave in the beginning yarn tail. Continue picking up the remaining 2 strands on the left chain. Crochet 2 single crochets correspondingly. When you reach the last chain position, pick up the remaining 2 strands and crochet 1 SC2 in 1. You can check the total number of stitches in this round. Refer to the chart for the exact stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The starting tail has already been secured partially. You can cut it directly. That completes the first round. Move on to round 2. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Pick up stitches, and crochet 5 single crochets evenly. Then crochet 1 SC2 in 1. Continue with 5 single crochets. Crochet another SC2 in 1. Join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Pull tight. Adjust the fabric so that the right side faces out. That completes the second round. For rounds 3 to 8, work single crochets evenly. Finish these rounds. Next, move on to the 9th round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Crochet 7 single crochets. Then take the thumb part that you crocheted earlier. Start from the first stitch of the last round of the thumb. Crochet 5 single crochets correspondingly. Tighten the yarn tail as you crochet. After completing it, continue picking up the remaining stitches on the palm. Crochet 7 single crochets, working evenly into each stitch. After completing it, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 9th round is completed. The thumb connection is also finished. For the 10th and 11th rounds below, follow the chart sequence to crochet in rounds with corresponding stitches. Everyone can finish these on your own. Continue to the 12th round. In this round, you need to crochet into the front loops of the stitches. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Pick up the front loop of the stitch below and make 1 single crochet. Continue picking up the front loops of the stitches below. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Tighten the yarn. The 12th round is completed. For the 13th round, work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Finish crocheting this round. Upon completion, break the yarn using the method for how to finish with a hat connection. Weave in the ends on your own. This completes the palm. Start crocheting the arm from the 14th round. I will continue to demonstrate with this sample. Take the corresponding contrasting color yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail. Join the yarn at the remaining back loop of the first stitch, in the 11th round of the palm. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet at the joining point. Weave in the yarn tail while crocheting. Pick up the remaining half stitch from the 11th round and continue. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Complete this round. It might be a bit tricky to pick up the stitches here. Be mindful not to miss any stitches. After finishing, check the stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 14th round. Next, attach the shaping wire. Cut 2 pieces of shaping wire, each about 12 centimeters long. Bend one end of one shaping wire about 1 centimeter. Form a shape like this. Insert it into the palm. Insert the other one into the thumb. Tighten the shaping wire in the middle. Then stuff the fabric. Be mindful to keep the shaping wire roughly in the middle while stuffing. The crocheting method for the remaining part of the arm is simple. Just work single crochets evenly. Finish the corresponding number of rounds. Pay attention to stuffing as you go. After completion, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters for sewing. Everyone, take a look. This is what the sample arm looks like when it's finished. Make the other arm using the same method. Next, let's learn how to crochet the legs, including the feet and the pants. Start by crocheting the foot part. We will start from foundation chain, then crochet in rounds around the starting point. After completing the foot, switch colors to crochet the pants. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The foundation chain and the first 4 rounds for the foot are relatively simple. You can follow the stitch pattern order in the chart to crochet. My sample is already completed. Now, move on to the 5th round. Start with 1 chain. Crochet 3 single crochets first. Then crochet 5 chains. Begin from the 2nd chain from the hook. Pick up the top half loop and crochet 4 single crochets evenly. Then go back to the stitches below. Crochet 8 more single crochets correspondingly. After completing, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The 5th round is now complete. Continue to the 6th round. Start with 1 chain. Crochet 1 single crochet. Crochet 1 SC2 tog. Continue by picking up the left chain braid and make 1 SC2 tog. First, pick up the left strand. Then pick up a strand from the right side. Crochet 1 SC2 tog. After completing, continue by picking up the remaining 2 strands of the left chain. Crochet 2 single crochets evenly. Next, pick up the left stitch, and crochet 2 single crochets evenly. Then crochet 1 SC2 tog. Then pick up the stitch from the row below, and crochet 1 SC2 tog. And 6 single crochets. After completing, join with a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. The 6th round is now completed. For the 7th round, refer to the chart to crochet the corresponding stitches. Complete this round on your own. Continue to crochet the 8th round. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Crochet 9 single crochets evenly into each stitch. Crochet 4 slip stitches. Note, make the slip stitch looser here. This will make it easier to pick up stitches later. After completing, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. The 8th round is now completed. For the 9th round, crochet single crochets evenly. When you reach the slip stitch position, pick up the braid of the slip stitch and continue crocheting. The 9th round is now completed. For the 10th round, continue crocheting single crochets evenly. After completing, fasten off the yarn normally. This is what the first 10 rounds for the foot should look like. Starting from the 11th round, begin crocheting the pants. Join the yarn on the corresponding stitch, above the heel from the previous round. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. As you crochet, weave in the yarn tail. After completing, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 11th round is now completed. Continue to the 12th round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Pick up the front loop of the stitch below, and work 1 SC2 in 1. Continue by picking up the front loop of the adjacent stitch on the left, and work it SC2 in 1. Then, pick up the front loop of the left stitch, and work 1 single crochet. One group of stitches is now completed. Repeat this group of stitches 3 more times working downward. Finally, work 1 SC2 in 1. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The 12th round is now completed. Continue crocheting the remaining part of the pants with even single crochets. Complete the corresponding number of rounds. After finishing, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters and cut the yarn. Everyone, take a look. This is what the sample pants looks like after completion. Next, attach the shaping wire. Cut a piece of shaping wire about 7 centimeters in length. Bend one end of the wire by about 1 centimeter. Insert it into the leg. Then stuff the fiber fill inside. Be mindful to keep the shaping wire in the middle. This completes the installation of the shaping wire. And the stuffing is also done. Next, sew on the decorative stripes at the pants position. Cut about 50 centimeters of the corresponding color yarn and thread it into the sewing needle. First, sew a few stitches at any position on the fabric to secure the yarn. Then draw through at the stitch position of the 11th round on the pants. Insert into the corresponding stitch of the last round above. Slightly tighten. This forms a stripe like this. Then skip 1 single crochet. Exit from the second stitch. Insert into the adjacent stitch below. come out on the left side. Another stripe is now sewn up. Continue downward following this method. On the stitch position of the final round, sew a stripe by skipping one stitch. The insertion position below is not fixed, it just needs to correspond with the one above and be roughly even. Finish sewing this round. After completion, sew a few more times inside the fabric to secure it. Trim off the excess yarn. The decorative stripe for this pants is now complete. Everyone, take a look. This is what the sample looks like after finishing the leg section. Continue downward and make the other leg following this method. Next, we'll make the shoes. They consist of two parts, the upper and the sole. First, cut the leather according to the pattern size. Pay attention to saving leather when cutting, so you don't run out of material. I've already cut out my sample. Now let's start sewing. Cut about 80 centimeters of the same color yarn as the edging for the box. Remove 2 strands and insert them into the needle with the golden tail. Fold the shoe upper with the right side facing out. The curved side should face the wrong side of the shoe sole. The tip matches with the tip of the shoe sole. The middle position corresponds to the center of the shoe heel. Insert the needle into the shoe upper from the wrong side. The position is in the middle of the curve. Leave a little distance away from the edge. Then insert it into the middle of the shoe heel. Also keep a bit of distance from the edge. Sew towards both sides from this point. Pull the thread out to a length of about 30 centimeters. Reserve this half to sew the other side. Sew along the edge of the shoe upper and sole towards the toe. Pay attention that this edge of the shoe upper should always be folded inward. Try to make the stitches as even and neat as possible. After completing, tie a double knot. Weave in the yarn tail. Then thread the reserved tail into a needle. Use the same method to sew the other side. When you reach the tip position, take out a heart-shaped acrylic rhinestone. Place the smooth side facing the shoe sole. Pick up the hole in the heart-shaped dent. At a position about 0.5 centimeters away from the tip of the sole, sew a few stitches to secure it. After completing, align this edge of the shoe upper Use whip stitch to sew along the edge. After finishing, tie a double knot on the wrong side. Weave in the ends. Then apply a little glue at the sewing position of the acrylic rhinestone on the shoe tip. Make sure the acrylic rhinestone is glued securely to the shoe tip. This completes the shoe. Sew the other shoe in the same way. Up to this point, the limbs of the toy have been fully explained.